Danny, and today we are going to look at Diamonds Club, which is a strategy game by the designer Rudiger Dorn. Um, it is essentially an auction game and a set collection game where you are going to be using a unique auction mechanism to collect sets of tiles to add to a personal garden that your player is going to be controlling. So you're going to be competing with other players to build the best garden, whoever does that, and by scoring points at the end of the game will be the winner. I'm just going to take a moment to show you the rules, and I'll come back and give you my thoughts on the game.
Okay, so here I've set out some of the components that you are going to get with the game Diamonds Club. First of all, every player is going to get one of these, which represents their estate, and the object of the game will be to build up their estate over the course of the game. So it's divided into two sections. There is this left side, which has 14 spots, and once one player has filled up 14 spots on their left side, that'll trigger the end of the game. You'll notice that 3 of the spots have features pre-printed on them, and hopefully you can see that. And in order to be able to be in contention to win the game, you have to fill in at least those 3 spots. You're not required to fill in all of the spots. Also on your board, there are these 3 tracks here where you're going to measure your progress with these player tokens. And those 3 tracks you'll be able to upgrade over the course of the game. There's a tree track, which essentially will give you points for the number of forests that you build in your estate. So these spaces here, you could build forests. It starts at 2 points per forest, but you could advance it over the course of the game up to 6 points per forest. The second track here is a mining track, an industry track. It starts out with no benefit, but over the course of the game, as you turn in mining operation tickets, you will get bonus gems, either 1 gem of the color that you're turning in, or these white ones mean wild gems. And the third track is a money track, an income track. Every round your income is going to reset to the amount that's shown on there. It starts at 10, it goes up to 14. Some of the spaces you'll notice also give you victory points at the end of the game, 1 to 3, 1 here. If ever you advance this money track, you also get an instant bonus of 1 additional coin, since your income is going up as well. So that is your personal player board, and adding things to that board is going to be where the bulk of the game play exists. And the rest of the game is going to be playing out on this board here. So the game flow goes that each round you're going to be setting up these tiles here randomly, and this is set up for a 4-player game. There's 4 players here, and this is the turn order of this person going first. In a 3-player game or a 2-player game, you'll take out some of these tiles and close some of the market. But this represents a market. So the unique mechanism of this game is that the way that you're going to buy these various bonuses here. So these spaces here will allow you to upgrade your various tracks. The question mark means any. The tree, for example, upgrades your tree track. These allow you to collect mines, and that will allow you to harvest gems of the color that's indicated. These contracts allow you to get mining deeds. You'll need those in conjunction with both a ship and a mining cart to be able to mine a gem of a color. You'll turn those in as a set of 3 at the end of a round. You could carry over only 1 of each from round to round, so it requires some forward planning. You'll notice some of these mining contract spaces and some of the ship token spaces have these top hats on it. If ever you win a space with the top hat on it, or just buy the space with 3 top hats on it, you'll advance on this turn order track down here. So if for example, I bought this, I would go up 1, 2, 3, and I'd be considered in the next phase first in turn order, because whoever is furthest along or highest up in a stack will be considered first player. And then there are these spaces here, which indicate animal tiles. That is another way to score. Those, if you win one of those, you will immediately add an animal tile. There are 3 types of those to your board. Individually, those will be worth 1 point. If you collect a set of 3, those are going to be worth 3 points. But the question is, of course, how do you win these various tiles? So this is the unique mechanism that I was referring to. The first person to bid, so in this case, because it's earliest in turn order, red would get to bid first. First person to bid will get to place any token anywhere. So let's say I wanted this 3 ship. I would place that there, 1 coin, and I would get to move up in turn order, and I would take a 3 token ship and add it to my collection for at the end of the round. Then the next player, would be able to place something there. If they wanted this red mine, for example, they place there, they get 1. They'd spend 1 money to do that. Now let's say the next person, they really wanted to go on this space to upgrade one of their tracks. In order to do that, they have to pay the 1 coin in, and then they have to pay an additional coin for any orthogonally adjacent coins. So that would require them to turn in another coin to the bank. So that would cost a total of 2 coins. Then, if somebody wanted to get this space later on, they'd pay their 1 coin, and they'd have to turn in 2 additional coins because of that. So obviously, over the course of the game, as things fill up, you could be paying a maximum of 5 coins, 1 for the coin that you place, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's the main mechanism. So the game goes with each player buying 1 thing at a time until they choose to pass for the round. Keeping in mind that money doesn't carry over from round to round, although there is some reason to hold on to money at the end of the round. In any case, each player will try to capture these sets of ships, contracts, and minecarts. They'll be able to turn in for gems later, the upgrades, and animals to add to their board, and then jockeying for turn order on this track. Once every player has passed, then the game's going to go on to the next phase. First, we'll assess who is furthest ahead in turn order. They're going to be the first person to be able to buy things here, but they will also get one of these diamonds, a clear gem, so like that, for being ahead in turn order. Also, the person who still has the most money will get the same thing, diamond. So passing early does sometimes give you one of those wild diamonds, which you'll need in the next round. So after we've determined those 2 bonuses, then in turn order, the new turn order, so whoever's furthest along the track, and then moving backwards, so red, then white, then gold, then blue, will be able to use these spaces up here to purchase features for their estate. So let me just show you those spaces more clearly. So you'll notice that these spaces here, they have on them costs, and they have spaces for player markers. So you could buy one of each of these each turn, provided that you have enough gems. So actually, before that happens, players are going to turn in sets of these. Like I said, they're going to be collecting contracts, ships, and mines. So players are going to be turning in sets of these 3 tokens. And again, you could carry over 1 mine, 1 contract, 1 ship each turn. But let's say this is what I would have. I would be able to turn these in, and I would get blue gems because I have a blue mine cart, and this is a value 2 contract and a value 5 ship. I would get the lowest value of any of the 3 tiles I'm turning in blue gems. So I would get 2 blue gems for turning in these 3 tiles. If I had upgraded my industry track, I might get bonus gems as well. But that's how I'm going to acquire gems to spend in this next phase. And every player does that, first of all. So then, with the gems I have acquired during that phase, I could turn them in here. So the various things, there's 4 different types of features that you could add to your garden. There's fountains, there's topiary, there are gazebos, and there are hedge mazes. You could add those. This one is essentially a wild space. So these, for example, cost 2 blue and 1 yellow, 2 yellow, 1 green, 2 green, 1 red, 2 red, 1 blue to purchase any of those. If I wanted to do that, I would just, let's say I had, 2 red and a blue. I would turn those gems back into the bank, and I would place one of my markers there. Now, the cost of this has gone up. There's 3 spaces for the other 3 players. Let's say blue wanted to purchase this. they would have to pay the indicated gems there, plus one additional gem of any color because there's one person there. Now, if white still wanted to buy one of these this round, they would have to pay the 3 indicated gems and 2 additional gems of any color because there are 2 people who were previously there. These other 3 spaces, this one is 4 gems of any color to take any feature, so any of these 4 or these trees. And over here, this is to buy trees. There are 2 spaces. There's one to turn in 2 gems of any color to take a tree, and one to turn in 3 gems of any color to take a tree. So there's more ability to get trees. So after everybody has bought things, and you do that one at a time until each player passes, then they will add those to their player board. You'll see if anybody has 14 features, all the features on their left side of their player board filled in, and if not, you'll just reset these. This is a modular board. You'll take these out, flip them if they've been used, shuffle them in the deck, and then reset it. So the board will change from round to round. And then if somebody does have 14 or more of those, then that will trigger the end of the game. There are also, I'll note, bonus tiles that you could collect, just to show you some examples of those. So for each of the 4 types, the gazebos, the rose gardens, the fountains, and the topiary gardens, for each of those, the first person to collect 3 identical ones of that type will get one of these markers that's worth 3 points. The first person to collect one of each of the 4 types will get 3 points. The first and second player to collect a set of 5 of the same types, not counting trees, will get 5 or 3 points respectively. The same person could capture both of those if they created 2 distinct sets. And then finally, there are 2 first and second to create the 4. I'm sorry, I misspoke. And those are 5 and 3 points respectively. So adding the pieces to your board, I'll just shift back to that. So as you acquire them, you'll just fill in the spaces, and again, you're going to want to fill in these spaces first. So let's say I acquired a gazebo, I could place it anywhere, and any of these spaces could accommodate anything, but if these 3 spaces aren't filled on your player board, and they're distinct on each player board, you will not be qualified to win when the game end triggers. But let's say you place a forest there, that's fine. And then there are the 3 types of animals. There are birds, there are fish, and there are deer. And again, you'll get those during the first phase of the game by placing a bid on a space like that. And you'll just immediately add those to your board. Those are going to be worth 1 point each. However, for each set that you have, instead of being worth 3 points, they'll be worth 10 points as a set. So at the end of the game, you'll just do your scoring. Essentially, you will look and see that you've met the requirements here to be in contention to win. Let's say this player has. Then they'll look at the number of trees that they've built. So let's say they built 2 trees. They'll multiply it by the number on their tree track. So that's 2 times 2. Those would be 4 points. They look at any animals, see if they're worth 1 point each or 10 within a set. They'll look at any bonus tokens that they've collected. And then they'll look at any bonuses that they might have gotten for improving their advancements. Once you total all of those up, whoever has the most points is going to win. In the case of a tie, the tiebreaker is the person with the most remaining gems. Hey, so that is Diamonds Club. This is a game that is, I think, pretty long out of print. I have a German version of it, but there was an English version, which can be hard to get a hold of these days. The game, it goes from 2 to 4 players, and it works nicely at any of those player counts. It says its ages 10 and up, and it says that lasts between 60 and 75 minutes, which seems about right, I would say. The game's prime attraction, I think, is in that unique auction mechanism where you're placing coins, both to get the goods that you want, but then potentially to raise prices for your opponents.
and there's a lot of interesting gameplay coming out of that one unique mechanism. Otherwise, it's a pretty basic, I would say, set collection game where you're trying to be you're trying to decide whether you want to specialize in, setting up groups of animals, or you want to get forests and increase your forest track to get the most points, or whether you're going for those bonus tiles by creating buildings. Something I had mentioned in the rules overview is those buildings are worth 4 points each, so that does make them a viable strategy. But I think that's one of the things that I've noticed in playing this game over the years that is interesting. It seems that the game really relies on you playing the other players. If somebody's just collecting those animal tiles, they could easily fill up the 14 spaces of their garden. Again, they need to fill up those 3 required spaces, but those animal tiles could really end the game quickly before you're able to collect a lot of those bonus tiles for building buildings, or advance your forest tracks, so you get a lot of points for the forests that you've built. However, if the game lasts a long time, the person who's building forests will have a chance to collect a lot of those trees, since there's 3 potential spaces that you could collect trees from, and they'll make each tree worth 6 points, which is huge. So you don't want the game to go too long, or else a forest player might win. Whereas the building player is really in a race with other players who are collecting buildings to grab those bonus tiles first. So really modulating the pace of the game, I think, is where a lot of the strategy lies. And sometimes it seems like I've played this with groups where the first time, people have said, oh, the forests are too overpowered, they're worth too many points, or it's too easy to end the game with the animals. But I think that the game is actually pretty well balanced. I've seen all those strategies win. It's just that it's not always obvious which one is going to win, and that's really dependent upon the players. So that's a really interesting thing, I think, that the game becomes largely dependent upon how the players are acting, how it ends up scoring and how long it lasts. So because of that, I think the game is worth seeking out and worth trying if you get a chance. Again, it's somewhat hard to find, but it's something that's held up well, and it's relatively unique. You don't see a lot of games that have that sort of bidding mechanism, which I think works really well here. So overall, I would say that this is a terrific game. Rudiger Dorn generally does make I think solid Euro games, and if that's the sort of thing that sounds appealing to you, I'd encourage you to check it out. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.